Yo guys, what's going on? It's Tom for Two here, or in Lost Ark, most people know me as Chessman. Um, Today we're just gonna kind of go over the long-awaited video that I was asked to do, which is my kind of Paladin skills, engravings, kind of the breakdown of how I play Paladin, what I usually do, the skills I use, all that good stuff. So long-awaited, but here we are. So right now I'm just in Trixion. I'll first go over the breakdown of my engravings, my accessories, and the gems I have, and then we'll start going over the card set that's probably preferred. Go over the skills that I use, the tripods, and then hopefully cover a little bit about the play style. So if you guys kind of watch the different Lost Ark videos that I make, or you observe how I raid, I provide a lot of utility, and I play to make sure to keep my party mates alive and make sure we can pass all the mechs. I'm not necessarily focused on super juicing our DPS to do the most damage. So right now I do have a 35 elixir set, still working on that 40, but this is all hard icon gear. I still have relic accessories. I think if you have above 1700 swiftness or around 1650 swiftness, you should be good. But on my current build, I have 1740 swiftness, 543 spec, but mostly you want to have the swiftness just for the skilled cooldown, and the movement speed definitely helps you dodge. So those are my gear. Again, you kind of want to max swiftness on the bracelet if possible. I do have a 7-8 stone. 7-6, 7-7 stone will be fine as well. In the current state of the game, if you have reduction engravings as support, I don't think anyone's really gonna care. So looking at my engravings, I do have the move speed reduction um, engraving active, but my core kind of engravings are Expert, Awakening, and then the class engraving, which is Blessed Aura. Blessed Aura is really good because it gives you uh, MP or damage increase, as well as healing for your teammates. So really good. And then Awakening, you just want to get that cooldown so that you can provide shields for your allies. Expert is just for, HP, or sorry, not HP, shields and healing effectiveness. So that's really good for paladins. And then my last two engravings are Vital Point Hit for additional stagger. Voldus, um, Akan, they all have stagger mechs, so really useful. And then Drops of Ether is just providing a little bit more utility. My entire build is around that. In terms of my gems, we're looking at mostly level 7s. Um, Still need to reroll one of those, but level 10 on, let's see, I have level 10 on Holy Protection, and I have level 8 on Heavenly Blessing. Reason being is I think these are the most kind of two important skills in your entire kit. And so you just want to have maximum CD for those. As for my card set, Trixion, I don't use Trixion a whole lot on my support, but I do have Lost Wind Cliff 30, and this is what you want to rock when you're a support mostly. So that's kind of my build. Let's go into the class, what I currently have. So right now, these are the skills I currently use. I think I'm sitting at 420 skill points, so there's like an additional 30 up there, but this is kind of what I have laid out. We'll go through them one at a time. So on Light Shock, I use as my marking skill. It's just easy to use. You just throw it out, and its cooldown is pretty fast. So I put a Purify rune on it, but I use Swift Fingers, Light's Vestige, and Powerful Shock. So 1, 3, 2. Light of Judgment, I put a Wealth rune on it. I use 3, 2, 2. So Magic Control, Faith, and Righteous Light. This is a skill that helps you regain meter for that Blessed Aura proc. So if you press X on your keyboard, so again, just mostly use it for meter gain. Holy Sword, this is your best stagger, and it's also a counter. So I do use a Overwhelm rune on it just to make sure I get a little bit more juice out of it. But I use 112 on the build. Execution Sword, it's another counter skill, so 2 counters. You gotta make sure as a support you're playing to get the counters as best you can. I use 212 for the tripods. Again, you just want to use it as another stagger skill, so that's why I have an additional Overwhelm rune. So anyone who plays with me, you know we are not failing stagger mix as long as I'm there. I use God's Decree. This is like a shield for your party that you could just proc on the ground. I use personally the protection rune. That way I get a little bit of shielding myself if I have to go out and shield my ally. But I use 111 on the tripods. This is just useful for making sure that either they get damage reduction in that Grace tripod, as well as giving them additional shielding if your Holy Protection skill isn't up. Heavenly Blessings. I use a purple wealth rune on this, so again helping that meter gain. I use 331 as the tripods. This skill is usually what you want to do is, and I'll talk about it when we get to Wrath of God, but this is one of those buffs that you give to your party. So as you can see, it's also a good meter gain skill. You give your party attack power, and MP recovery speed is really good for your party members. Wrath of God, again, this is a wealth rune. I put a purple wealth rune. I use the tripods 312. This again will give your party additional attack power, and it's also a push immune skill, so I just like that. Holy Protection, probably one of the most important skills in the kit. I use 312. This is just your basic shielding skill, and as soon as the shield wears off, it restores your allies' HP. So that's the build. I have to set up like this on my keyboard. Generally at the start of the raid, typically if say you don't have any meter to start, I'll like shield my abilities off the start or shield my allies off the start. I'll use my Awakening, right? Depending on what mech is available, but typically off the start you could just Awaken. So that pretty much fills the meter. And once you fill the meter, you're available to use the Blessed Aura pretty much, or the Holy Aura. So you proc that gives you additional, gives your allies additional damage to the enemy or boss, and it also heals them, so really good. And just to show you how much meter it gains, that's how much meter it gains, so it's a lot. So as soon as you use your Awakening, I like to use a cycle between, you want to use your marking skill. You could use Light of Judgment for additional meter gain, and then typically I use Heavenly Blessing as well, just so that I could get the attack power increase for the rest of my party members. Now, the trick to playing Paladin is if you're fighting the boss and he's like running around, you want to cycle, make sure that to maximize your uptime for how much attack power you're giving to your allies, rotate between using Heavenly Blessings and Wrath of God. So as soon as you proc Heavenly Blessing, you're going to see this Valor marker, right? It's going to be like 7 seconds. So as soon as that's ticking down, right, you want to eventually proc Wrath of God. It's going to reset that. And then it should try to match up with Heavenly Blessing as much as possible. So in that meantime, you can cast like other skills like your your marking skill and stuff. But then typically you wait and then you reset. And this just helps provide your allies with maximum uptime with how much they have the buff, right? And then in between, you can shield them if you think they're gonna take damage, right? You pop your heal. There's a lot of mechs where I actually help cleanse them. So that purify helps cleanse, you know, their status effects and stuff. So really good. And if you could watch the timings for that, it's really super useful. But other than that, the playstyle is not too much. You don't use the blue skills a whole lot. I usually save Executioner's Sword for counters. So I'll be playing kind of more towards the front of the boss. And then if I know that the boss will sometimes have like a stagger bar under a purple stagger bar underneath their HP bar, I'll just throw out Holy Sword, just so that I could get the stagger bar down. And with my elixir effects, actually, I actually provide a little bit of or what I know is some tripods, or not tripods, um, elixir effects I have. I just had a lot of like stagger, right? So um, it becomes useful, because once the boss is fully staggered, you could allow your DPS to fully just like Magumba the boss and just lay out all the damage. So playstyle is pretty simple. Typically, yeah, you use these two skills, Light of Judgment, Heavenly Blessings, Wrath of God. You do a rotation just to gain meter. You always want to proc your marking skill. So if you proc the marking skill will appear on the boss. This will be the Light's Vestige buff. And again, it's 5-second cooldown, so you just want to make sure that uptime is, you know, always on if you can stay around the boss. Typically, I'll shield my allies like this, and then it does do a little bit of damage to the boss, so if they're nearby, it also kind of, if they're staying inside the circle, they'll um, you receive less damage as well as, you know, get that additional shielding. I like the bigger shield personally, or bigger radius, which is why I use it as a tripod. But yeah, pistol's pretty simple. You just rotate between Heavenly Blessings, Wrath of God. You throw out your stagger once in a while. You should make sure you just heal your allies off cooldown, I guess, or wait for the timings on the boss. Make sure your marking skill is on, and you're just generating meteor, and then proc your Blessed Aura, and then once it's up, you awaken, and then you just kind of repeat the cycle. You just try to survive and keep your allies alive. So, if your awakening is up here, the cool trick is it will refill the meter, and you won't have to reset the buff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You awaken, you're good. Pretty simple playstyle. Paladin's not that interesting, but as you know, is part of my static. You know, I help out with a lot of shot calling, and um, it just makes everyone's life a lot easier when there's someone who can constantly observe the boss and its movements, look out for counters, and yeah. So let me know what you guys think. If I missed anything, or if you have any other like recommended builds to try. This is kind of what I've rolled with now that I've settled in on like the main support build I like. Um, it's simple, it's easy. Anybody can probably pick up Paladin and play if they just want to play like a simple brain dead support. I like it just because, you know, usually I'm in a static and I help shot call, so that's what gives me entertainment. But let me know what you guys think. If I missed anything, yeah, feel free to let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.